This instructional video is to provide quick screen instructions for the Biologic AUDX otoacoustic emission screener, as well as the original Welch Allyn otoacoustic emission screener. This Welch Allyn version is no longer available, but many programs still have the equipment in place and may need training instructions for it. These two screeners are essentially the same piece of equipment, just branded and packaged for the different companies. The hardware and the firmware versions of the equipment are current as of fall 2015. While we will be using the AUDX Basic Screener for this video, please remember all of the parts and basic operations are the same for both pieces of equipment. Think of it as the Cliff Notes for using your particular brand of screening equipment. Remember, this video is not intended to provide instruction on what OAE screening is or other screening program protocols or details. For detailed information on OAE screening in early childhood, visit our website, kidshearing.org. The equipment comes to you in a case, and it has user's manuals that are available for you to read and review how to use the equipment. You should review and refer to them and/or your equipment representative for any questions you have. This video, however, is to provide the most important user elements to get you up and running and screening kids quickly. Now let's unpack your equipment. Again, like all other pieces of otoacoustic emissions equipment, the equipment has four basic parts. The first is the actual test box or computer portion. The second is the probe assembly that has the probe tip that goes into the ear. And then the third is a power source that's used to charge the unit. And then the fourth are ear tips that usually come in an assortment of sizes, and this is the part that goes on the probe tip and is put on and then goes into the ear. The first thing you will need to do is to charge the unit, so you'll need to put the charging assembly together. It comes with two pieces, a cord that goes into an outlet, and then a portion that needs to be plugged into the adapter. So this portion will plug into the outlet, goes into the adapter, and then this plug goes into the unit. Now with this particular unit, you can test with it plugged in. That makes this unique. It's the only unit currently on the market that will allow you to test when it's plugged in. So when you watch, when it's plugged in, the unit will actually come on and you'll be able to screen. Now there's some important things to remember with this particular unit and charging, and I call it the rule of 3. So it takes about 3 hours to fully charge the unit. Once it's fully charged, it will screen for about 3 hours of continuous testing. And then the unit will turn itself off. There is no off button on the unit, so it'll turn itself off after 3 minutes of inactivity. Once the unit is fully charged, then you're ready to screen. The first thing you'll need to do is to make sure that the probe is plugged into the test box. You want to take the end of the plug flat side up with the mark that's on the end facing up or to the top, and you want to match it to the receptacle on the test box. And you want to match all of the pins. You match it in flat side up and just push it firmly in. One note here, in order to reduce the wear and tear on the pins and on the cord, you can store your box with it plugged in. Once the probe is plugged in, then you're ready to screen. The next thing you need to do is to choose an appropriate size probe cover for the child you're going to screen. Now, probe covers for the AUDX come in a variety of materials and sizes. They'll come in a plastic probe cover, which it comes in a variety of shapes and sizes, as well as foam tips. The foam tips are really an advantage in testing young children. You'll probably use this foam tip on greater than 90% of the children that you'll screen because it compresses down, fits a variety of size of pediatric ears, and is stable in the ear once it's fit. Now you'll need to take your probe cover and you need to make sure that the plastic portion is facing towards the probe. That's the part that goes on first. Then you will fit the plastic over the end of the nozzle of the probe, and you will push it all the way down to the base. It needs to fit all the way down to the base. It's calibrated to fit firmly all the way on. Once you've done that, you'll want to clip the probe cover up onto the back of the collar of the person being screened. In this case, you'll screen yourself, so clip it onto your collar. You'll want to compress the foam all the way down away from the opening, so when it expands, it doesn't cover the hole. Once that's done, you'll fit it firmly into your ear, and then you'll let go and let the foam naturally expand. Now, with this unit, there are 4 button pushes that you'll use. You first push the on button and let the unit power up, and then you'll hit the DX button 3 times. Let's go through the sequence. The first time, it loads software and gets ready to perform the test. The second time, it asks you to choose an ear. If you are printing results and need to ever look at the results stored in the machine, then you want to be sure that you choose either the left or the right ear. Those are indicated by an R or an L, and you just push one of the arrow buttons to change between ears. In this case, I'm screening my right ear. If you're keeping a paper record, it doesn't matter, just as long as you be sure to record each ear accurately. Then the 4th and final button push is to hit the DX button, and the machine will begin to calibrate and screen. So let's try it. It's calibrating and testing. And this test is a pass. So again, when the screening is complete, you'll either get a pass or a refer. Now to screen the other ear, you would just run another test. In this case, you would hit the restart button, and then you would press the DX button, choose the ear, and hit the DX button again, and it will test. And we have a pass. Okay, some other things just to remember is that the AUDX, or the unit, turns itself off after 3 minutes, so there's no need to turn it off, and there is no off button. In regards to saving a result, the machine will automatically save the results of completed tests. Depending on the machine that you have, it'll save a minimum of 25 tests and up to several hundred. So remember the rule of 3. 3 hours to fully charge, and then 3 hours of testing, continuous testing, before it needs to be charged again, and then the machine turns itself off again after 3 minutes. And also, again, remember, you can test with the unit plugged in to the wall. In regards to screening children with PE tubes, some equipment needs an adjustment in order to screen a child with known PE tubes accurately. There is no need to do that with the AUDX. No adjustments to make, just screen as you normally would. And remember, you should expect a pass if the ears are clear and the PE tubes are functioning. Okay, now let's screen yourself again by clipping the clip up onto your collar, and then by compressing the foam all the way down and inserting it firmly into your ear canal. Let the foam expand. And now this time, I want you to create some noise that you're generating. So I'm going to have you count or say the ABCs aloud while you begin to test. So again, we're going to hit the DX button 3 times. We're going to hit it once. We're going to choose our ear if we need to. Then we're going to hit it again, and it will begin to test. This time I will count. I want you to count out loud, and then let's watch what happens. So here we go. Begin to test. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Okay, so when I was talking or creating internal noise, which would come from the child moving or talking, the test did not progress, and we have an error message. It says high number of artifacts, refit and retry. So in that case, we would do what we could to calm the child. We'd refit and we'd retry. In order to do that here, we'd hit restart, and we would go ahead and test again. And we have a pass. Now we're going to create or have you test in conditions of external noise or noise in the environment that's not generated by the child. This time I'll have you have somebody make some noise by clapping their hands or banging something together while we do the test. So we'll get ready, we'll hit restart, we'll choose the ear if we need to, and then we'll go ahead and test, and we'll have the noise begin. Now let's stop the noise. Okay, so the test didn't progress as long as the noise was going, but as soon as we stopped, it went ahead and tested, and we have a pass. If we would have kept the noise going, the machine would have eventually stopped and given us an error message of high artifacts or too much noise. We would have needed to have made adjustments in the environment and then retested. So when you remove the probe, remember that the probe can be used on the same child for both ears, but it's disposable and should never be used for multiple children or used on different children. Now with this particular piece of equipment, occasionally the little plastic sleeve will stay on. So if we pull it off, and here the foam came off and the plastic has stayed on. So we recommend that you use your fingernails and you actually pull it so that the plastic sleeve is removed and the whole probe is removed. You will want to dispose of used probe covers and use a new one with every child. Now you want to look at the probe and make sure that it is clean. There's no earwax. If we need to clean it, we will clean it by pulling away from the probe tip so we don't get moisture or cleaning materials inside the probe. If this probe nozzle becomes clogged, you would unclip it from the sides and pull it off. Discard the old nozzle and then replace a new one on it, and by just spreading it over the grooves and pushing it all the way to the base, and make sure the ends are clipped in. As far as additional maintenance, you'll want to just wash the outside of the box with a damp rag with a mild cleaning solution. Being careful to not press too hard on the screen or to get any fluids in the display or any of the outlets on the box. You'll want to be sure to have an annual calibration. You'll want to complete that annually so you can ensure the accuracy and to obtain software updates that are made available by the manufacturer. Probe tips again, nozzles and tips again need to be replaced when they become clogged. And don't attempt to clean the probe itself. We don't want to get any moisture in there. It's easier, these are disposable, and it's better to just replace one than it is to try and clean this assembly and risk damaging it by getting moisture into the unit. These probe assemblies here are almost $500, about $475, whereas the nozzle here is under $1. You want to be sure to not try to sterilize the equipment anyway, and then be sure to store it at room temperature. Don't leave it in your car in extreme hot or cold temperatures. We've seen boxes before that have been in cars below 0, and this crystal LED display has frozen. With that, you're ready to go screen kids. Be sure and go to kidshearing.org for detailed information on techniques and protocols and program development for your OAE screening program.